What's going on, everyone? Spartan Alphazulu here, bringing you more Pokemon Wi-Fi action and the Haxorus breakdown, the X-Jaw Pokemon. This Pokemon is awesome, especially in the UU tier. He just wrecks. Going into the EV spread, 252 attack, 252 speed, and 4 HP with a jolly nature and the ability Mold Breaker. So what the ability does is the Pokemon's ability allows it to attack, to deal damage to mons whose abilities would not allow damage. So, for instance, Levitate, for example. Rotom has Levitate. Haxorus can hit it with Earthquake thanks to its Mold Breaker. And that's what's awesome about Haxorus. Going into his stats, 294 HP, 393 attack, and that is with a jolly nature. 216 defense, 140 special attack, 176 special defense with a speed of 322 with a jolly nature that after a Dragon Dance, his speed just goes to awesome levels as well as his attack. My Haxorus' moveset, Dragon Dance, Outrage, Earthquake, and Poison Jab. And Poison Jab is just for those, those annoying fairy typings, or those annoying fairy types that are in the UU tier, like a Mega Altaria, and actually specifically Mega Altaria, and also it can hit Celebi pretty hard too. You could actually. I'm guessing the reason why Haxorus has not made it up into the OU tier is honestly because his move library is not as good as the other dragons. Like Garchomp's move library, although it's not decent, it's better than Haxorus. And then Dragonite's move library is just amazing. Same with Solomon's. So that's why I feel like he just isn't in the OU tier, because his move library it's lacking. But he is still an awesome Pokemon, despite him not learning, a lot of decent moves. He is still awesome, and he learns the moves he needs to learn to be usable. And that's actually what makes him a little bit different. The item that mine holds is the Z move, the Draconium Z. So he can use the Devastating Drake Z move. And you've seen in the last video that I posted where Haxorus actually almost came back for me. And that's just how awesome he is in this tier. If you're not careful and your opponent sets up a Dragon Dance, or if they're running something like Galvantula and they get a Sticky Web up, you can go with an Adamant Nature, and that puts his attack well into the 400s. So he is a Pokemon you do need to watch out for. Moving on to the first Wi-Fi battle, a rematch against KJ, and the first time me and KJ went against each other, it was a mono-type battle. This time we're going into the UU tier. So let's get ready to rock and roll, and let's see how this plays out. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my Mega Manectric, who is in the UU tier. I use him in OU sometimes because, he can be used in OU. He's awesome. But he's really he's not meant, but he is put in the UU tier. He's going to start off with Celebi, bringing it back, not wanting to take an overheat. But I kind of saw this coming. I kind of knew he was going to get rid of Celebi. He didn't want to lose it right away. And he's going to go ahead and bring in the Rotom Heat, who just kind of walls Mega Manectric all around. But it's okay, because I went ahead and went for the Volt Switch to get some pivot tempo going. And I'm going to go ahead and just Volt Switch on this Rotom Heat, and bring something else in that can, make some momentum here. Because, like I said, Mega Manectric is not doing anything to Rotom. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my, excuse me, my, why do I always forget this Pokemon's name? Anyways, I switch her out, and I'm going to Primarina, and I'm going to switch Primarina out, thinking he's going to switch. Because, I don't see any reason for him to keep Primarina in. But he kept Rotom Heat in, going for the Volt Switch. And that was actually, I guess, over-prediction on my part. I'm not even sure if I outsped his Rotom, because Primarina is kind of slow. He's going to bring in Crocodile. Crocodile's another awesome Pokemon in the UU tier that you got to watch out for. His is Intimidate, but it does learn the ability Moxie, which, as you guys know from my Gyarados, Moxie can be a stupid ability, so you do got to watch out for the Crocodiles. I'm going to bring in my Hippowdon, though, because I don't see Crocodile doing too much to Hippowdon. And he's going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake, and Hippowdon just shrugs it off. Does a good amount of damage, actually, but not enough that I got to worry, because I got Leftovers, I got Slack Off. I can take a few of those and just play around with Crocodile. But he's going to swap out telling me that it's probably choice scarfed or choice banded, which most crocodiles are, holding a choice item of some kind. He's going to switch back into Celebi, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stealth Rocks. And here's where it kind of gets tricky, because Celebi's move library, it is something you got to watch out for. This could be a nasty plot Celebi, so he could be trying to set up on me. He could just go for the Grass Knot right off the bat. There's all kinds of stuff he can do. He ends up going for the Psychic, predicting a switch, but I keep Hippodon in just to see what's going to happen here. And I'm going to Roar, because I thought he was going to go for the nasty plot. So I ended up using the Roar, but Psychic, did some very decent amount of damage to Hippodon. And I'm going to bring that Rotom Heat back in, dealing some Stealth Rock damage to it, which I'm okay with putting it in the orange thanks to the buffet from the Sandstream. And so now, this is working out okay. I'm okay with getting some Stealth Rock damage on a Rotom Heat. I don't like Rotom. For those of you that notice, I'm not a big fan of Rotom. I tend to not use him. I do have one. I do have a Rotom Heat, and I think a Rotom Wash, but I don't use him just because I'm not a fan. It's not even that I don't think he's good. Rotom's amazing. It's just I don't know. I can't find room on a team for him, and I'm not that big of a fan of him. So, anyways, he's gonna go ahead and swap out, bring in Celebi back in. And I'm gonna switch out because now I think he's not gonna take the risk of Hippodon just sticking around. And I'm gonna go into my Scizor, who's also just another Pokemon that can wreak havoc in the UU tier. And Giga Drain is not gonna do anything to Scizor. Scizor is just gonna flex at it right there, and Scizor's gonna take it like a boss. So I know he's gonna switch, and I don't have Pursuit on this Scizor, but the reason I also knew he was gonna switch is Celebi's 4 times weak to bugs, so that's a big no-no. And he's going to go ahead and bring in the freaking Sandcastle Pokemon whose name escapes me. That's a cool nickname, though, Gara. I'm going to go ahead and U-turn and just get some more Pivot Tempo going, and now I'm going to bring in my Primarina back in because I'm thinking I can Hydro Pump and maybe take this thing out, or I can Ice Beam. But I also figured he was going to switch, but there was the off chance he didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Ice Beam just in case, which I shouldn't have done because I forgot he had an Empoleon. And Empoleon walls my Primarina all day. So, yeah, Ice Beam is not going to do much of anything to Empoleon here. And he's just going to shake it off. And now he can either defog, or I think Empoleon knows Stealth Rocks. I'm actually not too sure about that. But I'm going to switch out because my Primarina is holding a Choice Spec. So, I mean, it can't do much anyway because it's stuck in Ice Beam. And I'm going to go ahead and go into my Machamp and see if I can just wreak havoc here. But he's going to defog, getting rid of my Entry Hazard. So that's okay. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, I don't need Entry Hazards that much. They are nice, but that's not that big of a deal. Anyways, so I'm going to switch out because I don't think that he would keep his Empoleon in against a Machamp, and I'm going to go back into Scizor. But he ended up going for the Protect, and that really sucks. So he kind of just scouted me out there, and I didn't need to switch. I could have just kept Machamp in, gone for the Dynamic Punch, and he would have protected and then switched out or something accordingly. I'm going to go for the knockoff just because I know he's going to protect again, thinking I'm going to superpower. But, I just didn't want, I kind of wanted to bait it out. So I'm going to switch into Haxorus right here and try and maybe set up because I don't see Empoleon doing too much. And I thought he was going to keep it in, but he swapped it out and brought in Altaria. And I'm not going to set up just yet because I don't know if Haxorus, without a +1 speed, +1 attack, will do the job to Altaria. So I'm going to switch into Hippodon, and we're kind of just playing a switching game here. Just switch, trying to just get the upper hand on one another. And honestly, what I'm trying to do, Palossand, that's that Pokemon's name. I'm trying to get Palossand out of here. I don't. It's not that Palossand's a decent wall. I mean, it is a decent wall, but that ghost typing, I don't like it. I want it out of here. So I'm trying to just corner Palossand, and what I should have done, had I remembered that he had it, I would have knocked off whenever Scizor and Celebi were in, because I knew he was going to switch, and I completely forgot that Palossand was on the team, though. So now he's going to go back into Celebi because that Mega Altaria is not going to do much of anything to Hippodon. I know he's going to switch out, so I can get my Stealth Rocks back up at least, and now I at least got my Entry Hazards back in the game. So all this switching we're doing, if anybody's going to pay for it, it's going to be him. He does not have his Entry Hazards up. So I'm good to go here. But I'm staring right in the face of Celebi again. I don't want to get a Grass Knot. I don't want to see if I can take a Grass Knot, excuse me. So now I'm going to go ahead and go with Scizor and see if I can get a Pokemon out of the way here. He's going to Giga Drain, which thankfully he did, because I know back in the Diamond and Pearl days, people threw Hidden Power Fire on Celebi to counter Scizors. And luckily enough, he does not know Hidden Power Fire. Or maybe if he did, he didn't see it coming. So he's going to go ahead and bring Celebi back, and I know he's going to go back into Palossand. He's going to go right back into it, and this time I used Knockoff. So the Stealth Rock damage is not going to do much of anything, but Knockoff doing a crap ton of damage to that Palossand and taking it out of the match, giving me first blood, and I finally got some momentum going there. That was the turn of turns, and in my opinion, that turn was the tipping point of the match, because I got a Pokemon out of there. Now, you know, he lost one of his walls. I'm on that berry from that Rotom because of the Stealth Rock damage, and that was just a much needed break for me, just because I did not like Palossand because of that ghost typing. I wanted it out. But I know Scizor can't do much of anything to a Rotom Heat. I'm going to go back into Hippowdon, thinking he's either going to Volt Switch or go for a Will-O-Wisp, but he ended up going for the Toxic, and thankfully he missed. So this Rotom Heat does not know Will-O-Wisp, it knows Toxic. So at least I don't got to worry about one of my attackers getting burned against this guy. I'm okay with getting hit with a Toxic, but getting hit with a Will-O-Wisp, that really sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Machamp in, and Machamp's going to get hit with a Toxic, which I'm perfectly okay with. I'm okay with this. It's not a Guts Machamp, though, as y'all know. I mean, y'all have seen Machamp in all of my videos. Y'all know he's no guard, so I can abuse Dynamic Punch and just wreak havoc, turning my opponent's turns into a dice roll. Now he's going to go ahead and Volt Switch, and Assault Vest Machamp just flexes at it and doesn't do anything to Machamp. And he's going to bring in Celebi. And I think I go for the Dynamic Punch here, which I should have seen Celebi coming. I should have gone for the Ice Punch. But oh well, I mean, that's that. So Dynamic Punch actually doing an okay amount of damage. I mean, it's not a lot, but it was decent. And going for the Confusion, or getting the Confusion. And now we're going to see if you know, the strategy pays off here. Starting the turn, and Celebi sadly does not hit itself, going for the U-turn. And now I think I ended up going with Ice Punch here because I wanted to just take Celebi out. And an Ice Punch with Celebi that low, Ice Punch definitely would have done the job. Excuse me. Oh, I can't talk. But Altaria, being the dragon and fairy typing it gets when it Mega Evolves, Ice Punch is going to do a very good amount of damage to it. And I think that's going to put it in Bullet Punch range. So I'm going to see if Bullet Punch will just take Altaria out here. Going for the Bullet Punch. And that is definitely going to take Altaria out of the match. And Machamp just doing awesome Machamp stuff right there. So that was a very awesome. I just love that. That whole turn was just fun for me. I love taking Pokemon out with Machamp like that. He's going to go ahead and bring in his Crocodile. It's not Moxie, so I don't got to worry about him getting an attack buff from taking Machamp out. So I'm just going to go ahead and let Machamp get taken out here. Machamp did his job. He took some damage off Celebi. He took out Mega Altaria. What more could I ask for there? I'm going to go for the Bullet Punch just to get some residual damage on Crocodile, because why not? Machamp's going to get taken out anyway. And the Earthquake is going to take Machamp out of the match. But thankfully, it is not a Moxie Crocodile, so he's not going to get an attack buff. And now that he's got Crocodile out, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Primarina, because I want to just scare it away, and I know he's probably going to switch back into Empoleon. So he's going to switch into Empoleon, like I predicted, and I'm going to go ahead and use Moonblast, which I should have switched. I should have just swapped out back into Haxorus. But Moonblast did an okay amount of damage. It did more than I thought. I mean, it didn't, put it in the red or in the orange, but that was more than I thought it was going to do. However, it's still not enough. Primarina is not going to do anything to Empoleon, so I got to get her out of here. And now I'm going to bring in Haxorus and just see if I can just set up and do what Haxorus does best. So he's going to go ahead and go for the Scald, and hopefully he doesn't get the burn. And he does not get the burn, and that Scald actually did a lot of damage for Haxorus resisting it. Another awesome thing about Haxorus is his Mono Dragon typing. Excuse me. He does not share a type, unlike all the other dragons. There's maybe one or two other dragons that are just Mono Dragon typing. Haxorus does not share a type with anything. He's just Mono Dragon. And I'm going to go ahead and go for the Dragon Dance, negating that Intimidate that Crocodile just did to me. And that's going to put my speed up at ridiculous levels. That's going to put my attack up at ridiculous levels. He doesn't outspeed everything that's holding a Choice Scarf, but he outspeeds a good amount of the meta after one Dragon Dance. But you still got to watch out for certain Choice Scarfers. Like I think Infernape still kind of outspeeds him. There's like maybe one or two others. You just got to watch out. You got to be careful with Haxorus, but he is fast, even, you know, with just being a jolly nature. And I'm going to go ahead and go for the Devastating Drake because I'm not sure if an Earthquake would have done the job against Crocodile. I don't want to be locked in an Outrage just yet either. So I'm just going to go for the Z move, and that is definitely going to take Crocodile out of the match after a +1 attack and +1 speed. Although my attack is just at normal levels because, remember, he got me with Intimidate. So even, I mean, +1 speed is still awesome. Even with just a regular attack, you know, Haxorus is just going to wreck here. Celebi taking Stealth Rock damage, I'm going to Poison Jab it, and that's definitely going to take Celebi out of the match with that amount of health. And there goes Celebi. So this is awesome. This is what I love doing with Pokemon like this. He could just clean house. Stealth Rocks are up, so if any of them are holding a sash, it's going to get broken thanks to my Stealth Rocks. And Empoleon is not going to be able to take this Earthquake, and it's definitely going to take Empoleon out of the match. So this is what you want to do, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you want to use Haxorus. You want to, I mean, Pivot Tempo is just, it's not crucial, but it helps so much. Actually, we'll just say it is crucial because you don't want to swap Haxorus in on, you know, on any freaking Pokemon move. Earthquake, like I said, with Mold Breaker, knocking that Rotom Heat out of the match. And that is why Mold Breaker is awesome, because normally that would not affect Rotom Heat. But anyways, good game, KJ. Good rematch, man. That's awesome. Another rematch against Virgo, going back into the UU tier. And Virgo is an awesome freaking Wi-Fi battler, man. Or she's awesome. I have a lot of fun battling her every time we battle. I don't think she's beaten me, but she has gotten pretty close. So I'm going to start off with my Mega Manectric again. And she's going to go ahead and start off with her Aerodactyl, putting me in a very bad position because Mega Aerodactyl definitely outspeeds Mega Manectric. So I want to get him out of here because I don't want to lose Mega Manectric just yet. But she withdrew the Aerodactyl, meaning that, telling me, I mean, maybe that's not the Mega, but I'm not quite sure. And she's going to go ahead and bring in the freaking electric flying type Pokemon that I never see, and I can't think of the name. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's annoying when I say that, but that's, I mean, I don't know every Pokemon name like I used to. When I was a kid, I would have gotten all these names right, like with the first try, but, you know, now I'm just all over the place. He's going to go ahead and U-turn on Swampert and bring in Klefki. And he's going to, I got the feeling, you know, the screens are coming, but I went ahead and set up my Stealth Rock. Amolga, that's that Pokemon's name. So I set up my Stealth Rocks. He's going to bring in Klefki. I got the feeling screens are coming, and I need to try and break through that because I don't have a Defogger. So her screens are going to be up for quite a few turns. And I can't set Haxorus up against this. I really just need to stall out until those screens disappear because look at this. Earthquake with that Reflect Up. I mean, it did an okay amount of damage, but that's not even a 2-ko on Klefki. And I mean, usually it probably would have 2-ko'd if not a no-ko. So now I gotta get Swampert out of here. I can't let her set up the screens like this. And I'm gonna bring in Machamp and see if Machamp can do what Machamp does best. Let's just turn these turns into a dice roll. Turn these turns. And let's see if I can get her to hit herself. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Dynamic Punch, but she's gonna Dazzling Gleam, being faster than Machamp. I mean, Machamp's a slow Pokemon. And Dynamic Punch, after just shrugging off that Dazzling Gleam, after even with that Reflect Up, it does a good amount of damage, and the Confusion is just added, you know, an added bonus to it. So maybe she'll hit herself here. I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, but sadly, she does not hit herself, and Dazzling Gleam is just going to add to the damage on Machamp. But Dynamic Punch hopefully can do the job here, and luckily enough, it does, netting a critical hit and putting that Klefki out of the match, which is awesome because Klefki as a dual screener is annoying as hell. And now he's going to bring a Molga back in, but those freaking rocks do what they do best. Air Slash, and I'm hoping Machamp will just not flinch and Stone Edge right off the bat, but no. Machamp flinched, and I don't get to Stone Edge the Emolga. So I'm going to Bullet Punch just to get some extra damage on it, putting it lower than what it already was, and Emolga is going to take out my Machamp. So anyways, as I was saying, though, about Haxorus, because I got, you know, all kinds of sidetracked, that is how you want to use Haxorus, guys. Pivot Tempo is just so helpful with him, and he's just an awesome Pokemon. And even with my attack just being neutral, he was able to sweep an entire team with that +1 speed. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my my Aerodactyl, my Mega Aerodactyl, who's a very good Pokemon, but his defenses are just so paper that he can't make it in the OU tier. I thought he was going to switch because I didn't think she would leave. God, I swear I'll quit doing that. I didn't think she would leave Emolga in against Aerodactyl, but her Emolga is going to go for the Nuzzle, which that is a 100% paralysis move, and now my freaking Aerodactyl speed, my Mega Aerodactyl speed just doesn't mean anything now. She's going to go ahead and have her Emolga defog, getting rid of the Stealth Rocks. So now my entry hazards are gone. I'm going to have to find another way to get him back up. And I'm going to Ice Fang because I thought she was going to switch. And Ice Fang is going to take the Emolga out of the match. So even though those screens are up, and there goes Reflect, but even though the screens are up, I'm kind of making some good momentum here. Because those screens are just annoying. Actually, had she set up those screens and had like a Pokemon like maybe Haxorus or something else, I would have been in very big trouble. Because those screens would have protected Haxorus to the point where he could have set up like freely on me at least two Dragon Dances, and I think that would have been game. But luckily she didn't, and I'm going to Earthquake that Tentacruel, and Tentacruel just kind of shrugs it off, and the light screen is going to go ahead and wear off, so her screens are down. The shields are down. I don't got to worry about them anymore. She's going to swap out that Aerodactyl, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my Scizor back in, and I'm just going to see what I can freaking do to this thing. I'm actually going to knock off. I should have kept Mega Aerodactyl in, but I didn't want to lose him because he's paralyzed, so I didn't want to get scalded to the face and take a crap ton of damage. So that's why I switched him out. I'm going to go ahead and go for the knockoff, and she's going to get a second Scald off, and hopefully that burn does not rear its ugly face, and luckily enough, she does not get the burn knockoff, taking that Tentacruel right out of the match. So, man, I've just been lucky with that Scald, and I'm probably, like, my next few matches, just watch, I'm going to get burned. I'm going to get burned from a Scald. Ninetales is going to come in and bringing in that Sun, that Sun with Drought, which Virgo, if you're watching this, I don't know if you knew, but I think weather effects are banned in UU. I could be wrong. If I'm right, or if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure weather effects are banned in the UU tier. Anyways, Nasty Plot is going to go ahead and, you know, raise that Ninetales' special attack to stupid levels, and I'm thinking I'm going to lose Mega Aerodactyl here, because after that Nasty Plot, I don't think I can take this Solar Beam. But Mega Aerodactyl surprisingly takes it, being put in the red with 27 health, and Earthquake is going to knock her Ninetales right out of the match, which surprised the heck out of me. I did not expect Mega Aerodactyl to take that Solar Beam. But I'm wondering maybe if it just wasn't, if it didn't have enough EVs or IVs or something, because I mean, I'm pretty sure that was supposed to take it out, but maybe I'm wrong. She's going to bring in her regular Aerodactyl, and she's going to go with the Tailwind. So this is some kind of weird tech Aerodactyl of some kind, meaning that the Mega is Mega Opsol. I'm going to go ahead and get Parahax that turn after she sets up the Tailwind, and she's going to go ahead and get her entry hazards up, which this is like, you don't see a tech Aerodactyl every so often, like at all. At least I've never seen one. I'm going to go ahead and Ice Fang. I get the attack through. Ice Fang is going to freaking put that Aerodactyl in the red. But it's holding a Rocky Helmet, and that's going to put me at 2 health. I don't know why that couldn't just take me out of the I would have preferred if that just took me out of the match right then and there. But anyways, she's gonna go ahead and get the Roost off. So now Aerodactyl's back in the green, and I'm going to Ice Fang again. It loses its flying typing because it got grounded, but I got a critical hit to put it back like at 1 or 2 HP. But the Rocky Helmet is going to take my Mega Aerodactyl out of the match. But I still got Scizor, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Scizor in with that amount of health. That Aerodactyl's done, and I'm fairly certain that a Choice Banded Bullet Punch will OHKO that Absol, although it's not technically an OHKO because my Stealth Rocks are out. But either way, I'm pretty sure it'll take out Absol. And there goes Aerodactyl. Now all she has left is the Absol, and that Tailwind didn't mean much anyway because Bullet Punch has a higher priority. I actually should have expected a Sucker Punch coming, but after the match, she told me her Absol does not know Sucker Punch, which had it known Sucker Punch, it would have taken out my Scizor, because at that point it would have been based on speed, and Sucker Punch would have gone before Bullet Punch, but since it's not Bullet Punch, knocking the Absol out of the match. And it didn't take Stealth Rock damage, so maybe... Oh yeah, she defogged, that's right. But anyways, good game Virgo, good game KJ, good rematches, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the battles. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. I will check you all later. Bye-bye!